Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're going to break down the core ideas behind one of the most popular databases out there, MongoDB. We're going to explore how its architecture is specifically designed to tackle some of the biggest headaches that developers run into. All right, let's jump right in. But first, let's kick things off with a really big question that gets right to the heart of the matter. In a world that runs on data, why is working with it still just so hard for so many people and companies? It's a problem that can seriously slow down innovation. And that really gets us to our first section, the modern data dilemma. We're going to take a look at the specific roadblocks that older legacy systems tend to throw up in front of modern apps. This slide, wow, this really lays out the frustrations, doesn't it? First off, you've got these rigid data models that just don't jive with how we write code today. Developers are constantly translating their work back and forth. Then you've got data getting copied and pasted across different systems, creating these messy, isolated silos. And those old-school monolithic databases, they can be a total nightmare when you want to move to the cloud or scale up. The result of all this? A tangled web of different specialized databases all loosely stitched together. So, what's the fix? Well, MongoDB's approach was to completely rethink things from the ground up. And that's where their biggest idea comes in, the document model. You can see the fundamental difference right here. On one side, you have the traditional world of tables and rows, where you have to know exactly what your data looks like up front. Getting a full picture of something often means doing these complex and frankly slow join operations across a bunch of different tables. But then on the other side, you've got MongoDB. Here, data lives in these flexible JSON-like documents. And the key insight, the big takeaway is simple. Data that you use together, you store together. Just take a look at this. This is what a document actually looks like. See how everything about John Doe, his name, all his addresses, all his phone numbers, it's all right there in one place. And the structure, it looks just like an object you'd find in your code. You're not splitting this up into 7 different tables and then trying to piece it all back together. It's just intuitive, and it's fast. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from an IT manager at Toyota Material Handling Europe says it all. The document model makes it, and I'm quoting here, really easy for developers to move fast. This means they can spend their time actually building cool stuff instead of wrestling with the database. So when you boil it all down, the document model has 3 huge advantages. 1, it's intuitive. It just naturally maps to the way you code. 2, it's flexible. You can change your data structure as your app evolves without massive, painful migrations. And 3, it's universal. It's built on JSON, which is pretty much the standard language of data on the web today. Okay, but a slick data model is only part of the puzzle, right? Your app also has to be reliable, and it has to be able to grow. And that brings us to MongoDB's distributed architecture, which is really designed for the pressures of the real world. The first piece of this architecture is something called replica sets. You can think of this as your insurance policy. It's all about high availability. MongoDB keeps multiple copies of your data, up to 50 of them, spread out across different servers or even different continents. So if your main server ever goes offline for any reason, the system automatically elects a new one to take its place in seconds. Your app just keeps on running. Now for the other big piece of the puzzle, sharding. This is MongoDB's secret to handling massive amounts of scale. Sharding is basically the process of chopping up a huge data set into smaller, more manageable chunks, and then spreading those chunks across a bunch of different servers. This is how you scale out horizontally, which lets you handle way more data and traffic than any single server ever could. And this visual, this is where it all clicks. This is where you see replica sets and sharding working together on a global scale. By combining them, you can strategically place data all around the world. What does that mean for you? Well, it means you can keep data close to your users for super fast, low latency access, and at the same time, you can comply with data privacy laws by making sure data stays within a specific country or region. You know, over the years, MongoDB has grown from just being a database into something way bigger, something they call the Application Data Platform. So, the big takeaway here is this. We've got to stop thinking of MongoDB as just a database. It's really become this unified platform that's built to make it easier for teams to work with data through the entire lifecycle of an application. And the best example of this is their cloud service, MongoDB Atlas. It's so much more than just a database as a service. It's a whole ecosystem. You've got powerful search built right in, the ability to query data sitting in cloud storage, tools for data visualization, data sync for your mobile apps, and even serverless tools for building modern event-driven systems. And the best part? It's all managed for you as part of one single cohesive platform.
All right, so we've talked about the document model, we've talked about the distributed architecture, and the whole platform idea. So what? Why does any of this actually matter?
At the end of the day, it's pretty simple. That intuitive document model, it lets your teams build faster. That powerful distributed architecture with replica sets and sharding, it lets you scale bigger than you ever thought possible. And when you bring it all together in a unified platform, you free up your developers to innovate more, to create those richer apps and better experiences for your customers. And that really leaves us with one last question, a question for you to think about. When you look at what modern applications demand and just how fast things are changing, is your data architecture really ready for whatever's coming next? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.